Hi everyone and welcome to this playthrough of Construction Simulator. Just thought I'd play the game for a bit, show you guys what it's like, tell you a bit about it, what I've found so far, the things that I like, the things that I think are not maybe so great, and that way you can figure out that all-important question: is it good? Is it worth your time and hard-earned money? So we've got a single player game going. You can play multiplayer, however I will straight off the bat talk about one of the biggest gaps I guess in the game, in my opinion, is in multiplayer there is no chat functionality. There is no text chat, there's no voice chat, so you rely on having to have a Discord server or something like that that people can jump into in order to be able to chat. If you can get that, then fantastic, it's an awesome time. Working with other people and collaborating, but if you've just got sort of randoms running around jumping in your stuff, there's no way to sort of coordinate who's doing what. So here we are in the game. As you can see, the graphics they're alright. They're not ugly, but they're not mind-blowing either. So we'll just check out the map. And here is like sort of our hub of all our stuff. We've got a map here of the city that we're in. This is the USA map. There's also a Europe map. We have jobs, so there is campaign, and there is 4 people who give us campaign jobs. There's also an opening campaign which teaches you the game, essentially a bit of a long tutorial, and then there's a finale at the end once you've completed those 4 campaigns. In addition to that, there's also what's called contracts, which is little one-off jobs that unlock as you play through the game to sort of earn you a little bit of extra cash, but it's not a campaign job as such. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. You've got your company, and you can unlock skills that you can level your company up. You can level yourself up as well in terms of your skills. You've got your vehicle fleet, where you have access to all the vehicles that you've bought. You can also hire vehicles as well, so don't worry if you don't happen to have enough money to afford to buy outright a thing you need. You've got a warehouse where you can store construction materials if you end up with extras that you didn't use. Financial overview, milestones. You've got a profile, and you can turn your game into an online game at any time, taking up to 4 players in it. And there's also servers around the world, so try and obviously give the best local performance possible, and also to tee you up with local games. So let's take on a job. Let's look at a campaign here. So we've been doing some work for the tourism officer, helping to upgrade the tourist appeal. So we had to build a boardwalk, and then there's a bridge that we need to make as well. We've been doing some work in the ports, where we did some work on a pier, and they want us to make a container hotel here. Could be interesting. What else we got? Urban space. So it sounds like they want us to make a college. Yeah, let's give that a go. Now, a construction job has several steps, and you go through and it tells you sort of what you have to do in each step. So we can see here that this job is going to start with a bit of excavating. It's going to need materials bringing to site. It's going to need laying some foundations, unpacking and putting some concrete walls in place. So lots of concrete pouring on this one. Ceiling construction, so having to lift components into place. Tons and tons of concrete pouring on this one. Yeah, and if you don't like a particular section, you can skip that section, but you just won't get paid for it. So we'll check this out. Okay, so what it's saying here is that the job will cost us more in materials than we actually have to do the job, but that's okay. We can always take a loan in the meantime, or maybe we might get paid part of the way through and have enough. We'll see how we go. So if we go to our job, map here, so it tells us where we have to go to. And anywhere you've been, you can fast travel for a minor fee. So we'll just fast travel there. I have to say that the driving in this game is not my particular favourite, mainly because of the traffic lights. They're just a bit of a pain. And if you run a red light, there's a toggle you can turn on and off as to whether you get a traffic fine for running red lights or not. But the highlight of this game is definitely the building. So here we are, we're going to come and speak with the mayor, find out what he wants us to do, what he wants us to build.
Welcome to our city. As the mayor, it's my duty to enable the residents to live in the best possible environment. The people in the inner city districts have been dissatisfied for quite some time. There's a need for infrastructure and educational offers, and unfortunately, some areas are already pretty neglected. Young people in particular are leaving the city after finishing school, which can turn into a real problem in the long term. This is why the long-wished-for construction of a college is very close to my heart. I've been aiming to bring more educational offers to our city for a while. Now we finally got the go-ahead from the city council and, with your company, hopefully also someone who can implement the project.
Now one thing you'll find is that you're pretty much the one-man band in terms of the construction in the city. When I say construction, it's called Construction Simulator, but I think a better title would probably be Heavy Machinery Simulator, because as you'll see in this game as we go through, there's some things that you do, but there's also other stuff that you don't do. It just automatically gets magically constructed when you reach certain stages. So first thing we need is somebody to take the topsoil off. And one thing you can do when you go and look at vehicles is you can put a filter on, and you can use the filter to find the vehicles that would be required for the job, and that works, including the job stage, and that also works for when you're in a shop as well, the vehicle store. You can look at the vehicle shop where you'd buy any of the vehicles in the game and filter down to the specific vehicles that you'd need for this level, for this construction job. So we're not going to drive a slow bulldozer all the way there, we're going to fast travel it. And the game plays pretty well on controller. And the bulldozer here, it actually has dual track control. So when you're playing on a controller, you push like the left trigger to activate the left track and the right trigger to activate the right track. So it's quite a challenge to drive, but it kind of makes you feel like you are driving a bulldozer as opposed to, say, a car. The views are a little bit funny. You have to click the left stick to go to this free cam, which you can then move around, and then after a little while of not moving, it'll trigger back to steering view instead. And the right stick on the controller features normally your controls to raise or lower or tip whatever your implement is that you're working on. We have an option menu to be able to turn some lights on. There you go. So let's get started with some bulldozing. And it's looking reasonably flat here actually. Have to hold down the stick slightly to put some down pressure to get the topsoil removed. It's got quite nice soil deformation in it. Though only in the areas that you're actually allowed to work. You see, if we go and try and run into a tree, that it's not going to actually create an impact. you'll see that the percentage there is counting up in terms of how much of the job we've done, and you don't actually have to complete all of the area, so 100% completion will probably in this one be about, I don't know, maybe 2/3 or 3/4 of the whole area, and you'll see when it finishes it'll then tell us to leave the area, and then it will sort of magically tidy everything up to that stage of the job, which is sort of a little unrealistic in terms of if you're someone who's a perfectionist about that sort of thing. But if you just recognise, well, hey, this is just a game and it's a abstract sort of, you're putting some of the token effort into doing this stage of the job, that's just kind of what it is. I can't say necessarily is good or bad, it's what it is for this game. Again, I'm trying to stay within the lines, but it doesn't actually really matter that much. The game's not actually going to fail me if I don't go within the lines, because as you'll see in a minute, when I finish, it's just going to magically make everything look perfect. Which I guess makes the game more accessible. Does it make it better? I don't know. Kind of fun driving around a bulldozer though. The only thing is that they don't seem to sort of get dirty like you'd expect a bulldozer pushing mud to. They get like worn over time and a bit scuffed up, and then when you send them back to your depot they'll get repaired, but they don't, like you can see it's still pretty clean given the amount of mud we're pushing around. So the actual dirt, dust and stuff, that's not simulated by any means. There we go, 89%. Oh, look, there we go, we finished. So, go and take a look around. You can see we've actually missed quite a lot of the area. Haven't even touched that whole section there. Well, if they're happy that we've done enough, then... And you'll see, as we drive out, go. Now we have beautiful, nice foundations. Okay, so we can jump out of our bulldozer and send this back to our yard. So we store that, and it says repaired in 3 minutes, so it'll get repaired. We'll jump into our excavator. And fast travel back. Again, it's another tracked vehicle, so it's a little more challenging to drive. And then it also has different views as well, which is pretty cool. And it's quite useful, it helps you out with like the little dot there to indicate whereabouts you are, what's directly below you. So when you're positioning things like cranes, it's a big help. I have to say the earthworks is one of the cooler parts of the game, I think. And the game automatically, one thing you might have seen there is that even though I'm digging with a huge digger and a deep bucket, it doesn't actually let me dig deeper than it needs to. So it kind of, even though I've got a massive digger, I'm actually only getting small bucket loads because there's not a lot of dirt comparatively to take out of this area for the size of the digger that I'm using. This is definitely overkill. I definitely bought the largest digger I could, figuring, well, you can use a big digger on a small job. Well, kind of. In reality, this would probably be a very messy trench. So yeah, I went all the way for clearing this section, and now I'm coming in making a massive mess. start digging down this way some more. It's definitely one of those muscle memory things, doing a digger, trying to coordinate the 3 different parts. So you can see there was a decent scoop, went under the ground, but it actually didn't pick up much at all in terms of our bucket load. You can see there's a yellow sort of beaker shape on my HUD underneath, above the speed, and that tells us how full our bucket is. So you can see as I scoop now, it will start to collect up the dirt. And here we go, we've finished that job, apparently. So now we need to clear the area. And there we go, once again. Stage completed. So now we need to deliver materials to site so we can send our excavator back. Now by now you probably looked around going, hey, you really are the only guy on this building site. Yeah. It's one of the advantages when we're playing in multiplayer is that there's other people there. It feels like there's actually a crew of you working, but in single player it could have really been enhanced by a few AI, people, even if they're just static, well not static, but lowly animated doing things. Not actually contributing to the progress, but looking at plans, hammering stuff or sawing stuff, or laying some pipes or something like that. Lots of different things that they could have done there. Okay, let's take out our crane. And so we need to go to a place called the Building Material Dealer. I'll fast travel there just because we want to actually get loaded up. And I'll show you there's a few options as to how you want to play. So you can literally play the game pretty much without driving anywhere if you really don't like it. But it does cost you money to fast travel. Okay, so if we filter by our job, we can see we have to take, oh wow, okay, so just this stage, here's the 4 things we need to take. So if we buy these, it's going to cost us 7,600 credits. And when we go to checkout, there's a few options here. We can deliver it to the yard, so we're going to pick it up from here, and we can select to auto load onto our truck if we don't want to use the HIAB ourselves. We can have it delivered to our warehouse. Maybe there's another player in multiplayer that's going to be at our warehouse and load it up there and deliver it. Or we can pay 1,100 credits more and get it sent directly to the site. I'm going to get them to load it onto the truck for us here, and we'll drive it. Oh, okay. So there's a couple of reasons there. One is that we might be not in a loading area, but the other one is that it could actually exceed our truck. Rebar mesh and concrete formwork. You wouldn't think that would. Every item in the game has a weight class, and certain cranes and trucks can only take up to a certain area, a certain weight class. Let's try again now. See if that fixed it. So filter by this step, go to checkout, auto load. Yeah, so maybe it might be the there's too much stuff to fit on the transport I have, or it could be that some of the thing is too heavy. So let's have a look here. Yep, see, that's loaded onto the truck. Okay, so the rebar mesh is a problem. Alright, so the rebar mesh, I don't think that it's a weight thing, I think it's just that there's too much stuff. So the rebar mesh we're going to send directly to site. Yeah, that'd be why maybe the rebar mesh is too big to fit on there. Okay, let's go. Very narrow street there. No functioning mirrors, unfortunately. Though we do have a little bubble head. Don't know how many construction workers tend to have a little bubble head. Is that simulator accurate? Maybe if there's someone who works in construction out there, you can let me know. Drop me a comment. So this is the part where traffic lights, you can get stuck for absolutely ages, and I'm too impatient. And as I mentioned, if you have the fines turned on every time you run a traffic light, you can get fined. And yes, trucks tend to corner quite poorly, especially at speed. I haven't managed to tip one over there yet though. Ooh. Sorry. Interesting, this game's published by the same developers as Police Simulator. Now that would be an interesting cross-play opportunity. Having the guys playing police simulators being able to come and ticket the guys driving their construction vehicles around in an unruly manner, causing all sorts of accidents. So you can see the driving is not particularly, like, it's not terrible, but it's not the most interesting part of the game. And so that's why you can see the fast travel really is quite appealing, especially when you've got to travel quite a long distance between some of these places. I didn't like that speed limit anyway. Okay, so here we go. Now we can deploy our things that we need. Now one thing you'll find when you lift something you need is that it will highlight on the ground where it has to go. And I wonder whether actually I might have bought this stuff too early. Maybe I don't need this yet. What I might do is I might spin it around. And just pop it down the front here. See, this is one of the annoying things, is also it gets a bit picky about where you put stuff. There we go. So you can see this one, it's lit up on the ground, it tells me that is where it needs to go. Now, hopefully that I've got this side clear. There we go. Drop that up there. And given if we look around, I can't see any other highlighted placement areas. That must mean that this is not actually required yet, so we bought it a bit early. Oh, now you'll let me put it near the front. One thing we do need is our rebar, which we got delivered to site, so it should be... Ah, there it is, the pallets are over there. What we can try and do is see if we can set up a crane. There we go. Gotta make sure you enter the area first. Yeah. There we go. Can we reach it? No! Gosh, that's going to be annoying. Right, okay, we can't reach it. We'll have to move the truck. What's the bet? It won't let me put the rebar on top of the wood. And you can also quick reset your cranes as well, which is a bit handy. Oh yeah, it only needs one lot of rebar mesh, and we've got two, so obviously we got more than just the first stage, I think. Oh well, we'll have it for later. Lift this down. There we go. And then we have to unpack the materials, which basically means walk up to them and push a button. And there we go. Alright, we're going to have to pour some foundations. And I can see that there's some over there we need to do, and some here. So yeah, two jobs. So for that, we're going to need, well, there's a couple of ways we can do it, but the simplest one is going to be a concrete pour. And the bad news is, I don't have one. The good news is, I can hire one. So let's go to the vehicle shop. Actually, I'm pretty sure I don't have one. Let me check. Yeah, no. So again, if we filter by the job and even the stage of the job, it says we're going to need a concrete mixer and we're going to need a concrete pump. And you can sort by manufacturer, you can sort by the type of item. So if I'm looking at concrete pumps, there's a few options here. Let's rent this one. And now when I go to my vehicles, there it is. Now before I can use a concrete pump, of course I need some concrete. Luckily, I do have one of those. Well, that's annoying. No, I'm not going to fit there at all. It might fit there. Right. Open the hopper. Going to run back and get our concrete truck. And this is where the multiplier does shine a bit when you can have multiple people doing these things. And of course I've got to get concrete as well, but that's alright. One thing I can do is I can automatically fill it up and just pay for the concrete. And then we can just turn it on. Alright, here we go. It may look like I'm wasting concrete, but actually the game doesn't track it unless it's actually going where it's supposed to, so yeah. Can I reach the other one from here? I might be able to. No, just out. Unless... yes. Probably not going to be enough, but... Right, so we'll move around the other side. But the other thing we could try and do is we could try and do it the other way. Lazy way. There we go. Did I say lazy? I mean really clever. And again, see that we only did one of those, but now there's a whole bunch completed. And there's our wood and our rebar mesh that they wanted. So hopefully this gives you an idea of what Construction Simulator is like. It's a bit of fun if you like driving machines, cranes, diggers, concrete mixers, then you'll find quite a bit to like here. The missions themselves offer a really good variety of different types of construction, everything from road layouts to, like you saw here, building large buildings. It's just a pity there's not much more of the actual building part, aside from using your crane to lift pre-constructed wall parts or roofs into place. The building just sort of pops up into a finished, from a framework into the finished version when you complete the job. So it's not so much construction simulator, more like just heavy machinery simulator. And to get the most immersive feel, you really want to be playing multiplayer with some friends, but that means making sure that you have a Discord server or something set up where those people can come and take part as well. So is it good? I think it's enjoyable to play. I wouldn't say that it's the most groundbreaking game I've ever played, but I've enjoyed playing it so far, and it's one of those ones that's quite a nice chill game where when you just want something to zone out for a little bit, but you don't want to be necessarily worrying about having to shoot things and do something stressful. There's something quite relaxing about just jumping in a digger and digging out someone's swimming pool in their backyard. So I hope you enjoyed checking this game out. Leave me a like, drop me a comment if you've got any questions about the game, or let me know what you think of the game. And if you want to subscribe, I'm always checking out new games and letting you know what I think of them. So if you want to keep in touch with the latest titles that are coming out, previews, demos, reviews, all that sort of stuff, then hopefully I'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching.